Part 1. Montana. Chapter 1. The night before Cody Hoyt shot the county coroner, he was driving without a purpose in his county Ford Expedition, as he often did these days. He was agitated and restless, chain-smoking cigarettes until his throat was raw and sore. He drove right by the rural bars he used to frequent, not going in. Then the call came from dispatch on his cell phone. Hikers claimed they found a burned-out cabin in the Big Belt Mountains to the northeast, with maybe a dead body inside. Even though it was the end of June, the weather was unseasonably cold, and it had rained in the valley for 3 straight days. That evening, before the clouds finally lifted and the sun died, he'd seen a dusting of snow on the tops of the Big Belts to the north and the Elkhorn Mountains to the south. Snow. "Patrol has been sent up there," Edna, the dispatcher, said. He liked Edna, even though she'd decided she was his surrogate mother and gave him pies and casseroles and tried to fix him up with Helena divorcees. She said, "My list says you're the one on call tonight." "Yeah," he said. Cody was a Lewis and Clark County Sheriff's Department investigator. Detectives were automatically called to investigate any unattended death, meaning accidents, suicides, or, in the rare instance, homicides. "Because you have nothing else to do," she said, mock joking. "Not a damn thing," he said, deadly serious. "Are you at home?" "Yeah," he lied. "Watching the game on TV. Just a second, let me grab something to write on." He knew if Edna wanted to, she could fire up the tracking screen in the dispatch center and find the location of his vehicle out in the county because of the GPS unit mounted under the front bumper. Or she could have at one time, before he dismantled it the month before, because he didn't want anyone knowing where he'd been going, or that he spent his other nights driving. He pulled to the side of the road into the rough parking lot area in front of the Gem State Bar, the tires popping on the wet gravel. A single mercury vapor light on a pole threw dark shadows across the parking area. Pools of standing water from the recent rain reflected the light and the few stars that had appeared between night thunderheads. There were 5 other parked vehicles in front of the bar, all pickups. His pen was somewhere in the ashtray, which was spilling over with butts. As he pulled it out, he noted the plastic barrel of the pen was rough with burn marks. "Okay," he said. "The cabin is located past Vigilante Campground on Highway 280, 8 miles up Trout Creek on County Road 124. The map shows it's in the Helena National Forest, but maybe there's a private place up there?" He lowered the phone and sat back and closed his eyes, without writing anything down. Outside his driver's side window, 2 men wearing dirty jeans and hoodies and ball caps pushed their way out the door of the bar. He recognized them as sapphire miners. Sapphire mining was a small industry in the county, and there were scores of 1- and 2-man claims that had been worked for years and still produced. The miner in the gray hoodie was practically as wide as he was tall. The one in the yellow hoodie was gaunt and skeletal, with eyes sunk deep in their sockets. They were laughing and shoving each other. Yellow Hoodie had a 12-pack of Coors Light under his arm for the road, and he'd no doubt leave a trail of empties all the way up into the Big Belts to his little one-man mine. They looked up and saw him parked, but didn't straighten up or try to act sober. He was just a guy in a muddy SUV to them, because the vehicle was unmarked. Even the plates didn't give him away because they were skip plates. If anyone ran a check on them, they'd come back to a fictitious address and company name. "Cody?" Edna asked. "I'm here." "Did you get that?" "Yeah." "The complainants called from the York bar? They agreed to stay there until they met the officer so they could guide him to where the cabin is? Officer Doherty was dispatched to the scene, and he is there with them now taking their statements. Should I ask them to stay until you get there?" "Not necessary," he said. "I know the cabin. Tell Doherty to proceed. I'll meet him there." "What did they say about a body?" "Not much, really. They said they thought it was an old place by the look of it, and they poked around inside a little. They said that they think there's a body there because of the smell and what looked like a human hand. But they didn't actually see the body. They said it was raining hard and getting dark and they just wanted to get out of there.